Have you seen those signs? Some of them are like little decorative signs, um, kind of like this one that say, and they put them on mugs and T-shirts too, and it says, "Don't confuse your Zillow Zestimate with my real estate license." And ain't that the truth? Okay, you know that damn Zillow drives me crazy because people want to argue with you. They call you up thinking about selling their property, or they just want to get an idea of how much their property is worth. We do all of our research and come back with a number, and it's not the same number that Zillow told them. And then they want to argue with you, usually because Zillow's number is higher, because Zillow's number is a computer generated bot. Our number is based on the facts, nothing but the facts. So I had a couple months ago, and from what I see, they have not put their house on the market. I don't know if they were serious because, like I said, sometimes people just want to find out how much is worth. And they had talked to a few agents other than myself and my partner, and it seems that all of the human real estate professionals gave them figures that were very similar, very close to each other, but very far off from what Zillow gave them. So they wanted to argue. And I think what they were doing was trying to find somebody, an agent, that would say something similar to what Zillow said, and maybe then they would sell their house. I don't know. Zillow gave them a figure of the high 900,000s, where in reality they are in the mid 700,000s. When they put in their search, they just put in their city, and so what Zillow did was gave them an average amount for their city. When we as real estate professionals did it, we narrowed it down to a quarter mile from with where their property was located. We only looked at properties that were similar to theirs as far as number of bedrooms and bathrooms and square footage. Um, we looked at the condition of their property versus the properties that had sold within the last 3 to 6 months in that same area, same approximate size of the property. And with Zillow, I tell everybody to look at the last sold date on there on those Zillow, because a lot of times they can be last sold, that property that they're using as a comparable last sold 2 or 3 years ago. That was a totally different market. So you can't compare that. Um, we know a while back, a few years ago, things were, you could put a tent in the backyard and people was fighting over it and wanted to pay over. And if it didn't appraise, they were paying the difference from what the appraised amount was to what they wanted to pay for it. So they had no equity, they were negative equity at that point. But we're not in that market anymore. You cannot just go put your house up for sale and think that you're going to get a whole bunch of people um, lined up to buy it. We're just not there. But if you price it correctly, then you will get multiple interests, maybe. because people are still kind of unsure of the economy right now. But even so, I was just saying that to say that when you want to find out the value of your home, or what homes are selling for in your area that would give you an idea of what yours would sell for, you really need to talk to a human. Just like if there is a discrepancy on your credit card, you see a charge on there you don't recognize, and you call the number, you call an 800 number, and they go through the spiel about, you've reached whatever credit card company, and listen carefully because our menu selections have changed, like you knew them before. I don't know why they all say that. And then they tell you press this button for English, press this button for Spanish. If you want to pay your bill, well, press this button, or tell them what you want, press that button. And you go through all of that, and you're steady saying customer service rep, or I want to talk to a person, or you're pressing 0 thinking that is that going to get you there, or you're pressing the pound key because you want to talk to a person that can actually help you, rather than going to their website at www dot whatever. It's the same premise with finding the value of your home. The Zillow will just pull it. Just it's a robot. It's a computer. It pulls data from different sources around the internet, and it compiles them, and it spits out a figure. But it doesn't know that the house down the street sold for this amount of money, and it was completely redone. The family gutted the kitchen, and it has a whole new state of the art modern kitchen with an open floor plan, even though the house was built the same year as yours. But your house was built in 1940, and so was it. But you haven't done anything to it. You still have the same old kitchen. The house down the street, they may have upgraded the bathroom, and it has a new tub and a new separate shower and new sinks, and the pipes have been redone, so the water pressure is wonderful. Your bathroom, you got the original everything. Your pipes knock when you turn on the water, and you have low water pressure because you haven't done anything with your pipes. You have galvanized pipes, and they're probably full of sludge and roots because nothing's been taken care of. So you really can't compare your house to that house and want the same amount of money that they may have gotten when you haven't upgraded your house. And Zillow's not going to know that, so they're just going to see this house is the same size as that house, and this is how much it's worth. So you actually really, really need a person, a live person, because Zillow's is just a zestimate, and it's inaccurate most of the time. And you can't get all extra excited saying, oh, Zillow said my house is worth this, and it's not. And if it's not, you can't be sad about it, because that's, it's that's why you just need to talk to a real person.